tonight, #1 Purdue on the road against #9 Kentucky. Welcome to college basketball, everybody. Tom Hart alongside Jimmy Dyke to return the dominance. Last year made it to the Sweet 16 for the first time since 2019. And we're underway. Purdue controls the tip. This is Braden Smith, who put up video game numbers last year. Now a senior out of Westfield, Indiana. He runs the offense for Purdue. Smith and Fletcher Lawyer have started the last 110 games consecutively for this Purdue team. Here's Lawyer off the feed from Smith. And Jimmy, the way they're going to start, they don't look like a team that just started practicing together, because they've been together for a long time.
How about that feel by Braden Smith to know and to feel Fletcher Lawyer in that sprint action behind the basketball for that first triple.
Meanwhile, Denzel Aberdeen will help run the point for Kentucky. They were without their...
Really, they've got to take a...
Program record 8 wins against top 25 opponents last year for Kentucky, in year #1 for Mark Pope. The former Cat came back to his campus haunt to lead this team and this program. Here's Otega Owe, had a mismatch but gives it up. Shot clock late and a contested 3. These two teams were #1 and 2 in three-point percentage last year. They love to get them up.
Well, you know Purdue is a beautiful offensive team. Defensively, they've got to take a step forward this year. They should do that because of their frontline size they did not have.
Aberdeen won a national title with Florida last year off the bench, and he cashes in for the first time as a Cat.
This Kentucky team, Tom, they are so good at those sprint actions to those deep corners in their transition push. That time, Aberdeen with the first tree for Kentucky.
Trey Kaufman-Renn setting the screen. This is a Purdue team with a ton of size. Lawyer with the mid-range.
He's way more than just a shooter. This guy's got game. This guy's a baller. Fletcher Lawyer, so good and so much progression over the years with his ball fake bouncing into jump shots.
Well, 3rd in the country over the last 2 years in combined three-point percentage, better than 44. Here's Owe. He'll launch a 3. And good rotation.
It is an awkward release. That ball goes out towards the defender before it goes up. He's going to have to take clean looks all year long, but a really good start on the jump shot by Owe.
Lawyer gets free again, but gives it up. Here's Smith again. A little bounce. Trey Kaufman-Renn. Nobody made more 2s in college basketball than Kaufman-Renn last year, but short on that one.
How about that shooter? But he's such a unique offensive player, and that's that downhill force of Otega Owe. Purdue's transition defense so far grading out about a C- in the eyes of Matt Painter.
Owe's brother, linebacker for the Ravens. He plays basketball like a running back. Here's Smith, found a hole, dumps it off, and reach in by Brandon Garrison.
You just cannot let that kid right there turn the corner in ball screen action, talking about Braden Smith. He had 15 assists last year for Matt Painter in that Sweet 16 loss to Houston, who's the best ball screen defense in the country. How about the consistency, Tom, of Purdue? Only 2 head coaches in the last 45 years. Gene Cady and now Matt Painter. That's just the Purdue system in place for 45 seasons.
Better than or nearly 1,000 wins and 11 Big Ten titles, as Oscar Clough, the transfer from South Dakota State's got another one coming. Painter currently tied with Bobby Knight, 5 times named Big Ten Coach of the Year, looking to climb that list. Clough goes 1 for 2, and Trevor Noah with the rebound. Aberdeen, the 6th man for Todd Golden's Florida Gators last year. He made just a handful of starts, but otherwise he was the best guy off the bench. It was a very deep backcourt. Another touch for the senior from Orlando. Shot clock in single digits. Odiabate, transfer from Alabama. Owe with the back cut, got a bump from Fletcher Lawyer. Mark Pope just excited to get the ball in the air, be back inside Rupp Arena. 40-4 in this building as both the player for Rick Pitino and then now 2nd year as a coach. What's he looking for tonight?
Well, they were hard to guard last year. Kentucky was offensively, especially that 3-point shooting that he brought with him from BYU. Defensively, Kentucky has to take a step this year. Mark Pope's only had 1 top 50 defense in his 10 years as a head coach. It's been a big emphasis, Tom, this offseason.
Both teams really struggled in 2-point field goal defense. In fact, on the Purdue side, a program that has had size year after year. They are 232nd in the, I had it right the first time, 332nd in the country. Couldn't believe my eyes in two-point defense. Here's Smith downhill. Great body control.
Again, cannot let him turn the corner. The line of scrimmage for Kentucky tonight is their ball screen.
He has put up Magic Johnson numbers in Big Ten play. That is saying something. Historical career at Purdue already. Nice back cut, Trevor Noah into the corner. Diabate with the left in the finish.
Well, we know he can play. I mean, a major minute guy for Alabama. Been a part of a Final Four team. Another downhill driver to complement Otega Owe this year and Jalen Lowe when he's eligible.
C.J. Cox on the floor for Purdue as Kaufman-Wren gets fouled. That'll be an advantage for Purdue on the interior tonight. But the Cats with an early 10-8 lead. Both teams have knocked down some threes. Back to Lexington in a moment.
Extra.
Make this big blue team better on the defensive end.
Colin Chandler now on the floor for Kentucky. He's out there with a handful of folks, including Trent Noah. Thought Trevor was the new player for a second. Braden Smith leaves that one short. May have gotten tipped. No putback for Kaufman-Wren. And here's Chandler pushing it up the court. Mark Pope wants to take advantage of this exhibition. You mentioned he wants to win. They've won 80% of their games in this building historically.
Nice.
And Noah with the finish. But Jimmy also wants to see how different combinations play together.
Well, he's got a good combination on the floor right now. You wrap that zoom action out of the corner, and Purdue overplayed it. Kentucky made them pay for their over-aggressiveness.
Fletcher Lawyer leads it short. Diabate another board. Yeah, why not keep it himself? Final Four and an Elite Eight for Nate Oates with Alabama.
Well, against Kentucky, Tom, you've got to get back and get matched up. A bad matchup is better than no matchup in this situation with Kentucky's speed and transition.
Offensively trying to feel it out. They'll let the shot clock get late again. Here's Aberdeen. Purdue with the switch, and Aberdeen leans in but left it short. Good defense by C.J. Cox. And then a foul 92 feet from the basket.
Kentucky last year, what did Mark Pope bring offensively? The zoom action where he big dribbles at the guards on the sideline. And that time they stack three in that corner, and Trent Noah just reads the defense, wraps off of it, a little burn cut, a well-delivered pass. Trent Noah, known as a shooter, but he has taken his game to another level in the offseason with off-ball action, a trusted defender, just a high IQ kid that gets the start tonight for Kentucky.
Kentucky picks him up full court. It was interesting sitting through Kentucky practice yesterday, Jimmy, that early in the season, Mark Pope's got a lot of new stuff installed that they didn't run last year. So some of it we'll see tonight, some of it we won't. Andrea Yelovich is in the game now. And Chandler gets whistled, trying to defend Braden Smith.
Braden Smith is a lot of things, but he is a 2-foot genius when he starts playing off a two. Again, Kentucky, they don't delete that drive. They let number 3 turn the corner and get downhill, and now he starts shot faking you off of 2 feet. Just a crafty, sneaky, tough son of a gun that I believe will be an NBA backup guard for a long time. And he can talk all you want to about National Player of the Year, Big Ten Player of the Year repeat. Number 3 in black wants to win a national championship for Purdue, which would be their first in school history.
Been to the Final Four 3 times, 69, 80, and then in 24. He's listed at 6 feet tall, but his wingspan is +6 from that. So it's a 6'6" wingspan, and he's got size 8.5-inch hands. He plays a lot taller than the 6 feet that he measures. Daniel Jacobson back on the floor in a Purdue uniform. Great to see him back. And Purdue comes out of there with the rebound. Jakari Harris. Step through and a kick out. Extra pass for Smith. He's got Yelovich guarding him. Smith taking the hole and the fadeaway. Rebounded by Chandler.
Good job by Kentucky because they were cross-matched initially, but they all fought their own spot and forced a tough look by Braden Smith.
Malachi Marino out there now.
Nice
He
slip.
gets the feed. Out to Chandler. Good recovery by Lawyer initially. And now a 3 for Jasper Johnson.
He has all kinds of offensive talent does Jasper Johnson. What a hustle play by Colin Chandler.
Yelovich can't cash in.
Colin Chandler just makes winning plays. He did not make a shot, Tom, talking about 5 and white in their blue-white scrimmage. But Mark Pope said he was maybe our overall best player in all the other areas.
Purdue has really slowed down offensively, just 3 for 9 from the floor now. And the loose ball, Chandler tried to bang it off the big, but it stays with Purdue. Kaufman-Renn in and out.
Boy, he has missed shots to Trey Kaufman-Renn, but normally he's about 70% inside that paint.
Instead, he is 0 for 4 from the floor tonight. A Kentucky turnover gives it right back to the Boilermakers. Purdue last year, Jimmy, was 7th in the country, according to Ken Palm, in offensive efficiency. They go to the bench for Jack Benner now, redshirt freshman.
Well,
and a big part of that was Kaufman-Renn.
It's a combination of Matt Painter, Braden Smith, and Trey Kaufman-Renn. Matt Painter moves the defense as well as any coach offensively in the game, and Braden Smith at the point guard manipulates defense better than any point guard in the college game. So those two pieces right there alone set you up for great offensive efficiency.
And here's their point guard of the future, Omer Meyer. And Meyer lost it out of bounds.
I really like Kentucky.
He played with former Wildcat Zvonimir Visic, who's now with Illinois, playing with his twin brother Tommy. 3 ball, all off the back of the rim. He said the biggest lesson Big Z gave him: don't eat pizza every day for your first week on campus. It'll give you stomach issues, and it'll be tough to see the floor. Big Z couldn't resist. Lean in, finish by Jakari Harris.
Jakari Harris has taken a step up since last year. And a trusted defender as a freshman. He and C.J. Cox are going to have to play big minutes this year for Purdue at that 2-guard spot.
Into the corner. Jasper Johnson, now they get it nearly to the paint. Chandler launches a 3. Yelovich gets fouled.
He just has a knack, Yelovich, watching his international film. High IQ guy. The game did not change for Florida when Denzel Aberdeen came in. He kept the flow going, the aggressiveness going. And there's something to be said about bringing a dude in that's won a national title.
Yeah.
You know, they're just going to carry themselves a little different. No stage is too big. And Denzel Aberdeen brings a lot of the intangibles to Kentucky.
Another free throw coming for Andrea Yelovich, who last year this time was playing in the Adriatic League. You ever call games over there?
Not yet.
Not yet.
The way this is going, we may be there by December. He told me his hometown has just over 1 million people. That's what I know about his hometown. And it's probably cold there.
Best oysters in Europe.
Really?
Yeah, that's what I told him. Big Z told me that. Then he had 2 large Papa John's pizzas. Meyer kicks it into the corner. Daniel Jacobson, the big on the floor right now for Purdue, back after a broken leg last year. Transition 3, and it's good for Cam Williams. A Tulane transfer, another triple for the Cats. That's their 4th. Other 7 made buckets tonight.
The speed of Kentucky is really causing Purdue problems. Purdue is not a fast twitch team. They're old, they're tough, they're rugged. High IQ, but speed has caused these guys problems in the past. Auburn just put it on them last year because of that athleticism. And Kentucky, horse races, just getting out, flooding that baseline with shooters. And transition defense for Purdue, a concern early.
Fletcher Lawyer off the inbounds, good.
You cannot lose Fletcher Lawyer at any part of the game, but especially off of out-of-bounds plays.
They'll go into the regular season 10th in school history and made 3s. No whistle on the Aberdeen drive and dish. Good pass underneath, and Moreno finishes.
Again about Yelovich, he just knows how to play. That's a very crowded, tight 4 to 5 pass delivered from Yelovich. Purdue got caught ball watching.
Interesting 5 on the floor right now for Purdue.
They look different without Braden Smith, do they not?
Indeed. And Williams ran through that screen, commits his 2nd personal foul.
Well, Fletcher Lawyer is just a threat, man. He's the out-of-bounds trigger guy. And just a violent cut off that inbounds pass to get his feet and shoulders squared. There's what Yelovich does as a playmaker around that elbow. That's 6'9" to 6'11". Really good inside tight passing by Kentucky.
Braden Smith back on the floor for Purdue. Well, he's got that pump fake down, doesn't he? He really slowed down the defense. Had Jacobson on a roll for a minute. And now the kiss off the glass. I didn't know if it was going to be a lob or a shot.
I didn't know either, but a very quick release by Braden Smith. Small guards that can score. They've got all the tricks, and this kid's got them.
Aberdeen off of his foot. Fantastic hustle by Meyer. Purdue on the run, and Harris tied up and gets it to go.
Big play in an exhibition game. That's Purdue basketball at its finest right there. They just absolutely thrive in hustle plays, diving on the floor and giving up their body. Kentucky fans wanted a travel call. When you roll over like that, it was a 50-50 in my eyes, but man, that's just pure toughness by the team in black. Bam, first to the floor, and then the finish right here, really well done by Purdue in their transition game. A big play on October the 24th.
You don't put effort like that forth in an exhibition game if you don't practice like that.
No doubt. But both teams highly competitive. Both teams want to win this game. It doesn't matter, but it does in a lot of small areas.
Three-point play for Harris out of Grayson High School in Atlanta. Son of the big dog, Glenn Robinson. He was a high school teammate of Dominique Wilkins' son, Jacob. You think they won some games at Grayson? Here's Owe. And now Noah probes. Yelovich shares it. One on the shot clock. And Braden Smith with the rebound. He pulled down 4.5 boards a game last year to go with almost 9 assists. Put up an all-around stat line. Here's Benner. Rebounded by Garrison.
Nice.
And Owe can't finish, so they got to come in the other way. It's out on a couple of assists with Benter going 0 for 2, his last 2 triples. And Yelovich draws the whistle. And that's the second on Jack Benner. K-State Mizzou tonight as preseason basketball continues. Is that Jack Hartman against Norm Stewart? Old Big 8 matchup?
Lon Kruger.
Yeah.
Yeah, John Sunvold. No, I tell you what it is. Jerome Tang told me 2 days ago at the Big 12 Media Days, he's got the best guard in college basketball, P.J. Haggerty. And there's an argument behind that. 22, 23 points a game last year out of Memphis. And Dennis Gates' squad is loaded up, and what is once again a loaded SEC this year.
Yeah, Memphis didn't want to lose Haggerty. But K-State broke the bank for a guy who led the American in scoring. Chandler with the rebound off the Noah miss. Here's Ortega. Owe! And he throws it down with 2. 7 for Owe.
He is so efficient with his dribbles. Owe does not overbounce it at all. Has learned what he did in 3 dribbles a couple of years ago. He now does in 2 or 1. Just a dynamic downhill force. 0-0 in white.
Meyer and Smith on the floor at the same time. Kaufman Wren sees a double.
Yeah, he's getting monster on every initial touch. 4 in black is.
Get doubled again. They whistle for the foul.
Tom, you don't want to foul though when you double. Fouling the gate. And you bring back 3 key seniors. No one, Tom Hart, has brought back 3 better seniors in Braden Smith, Trey Kaufman-Wren, and Fletcher Lawyer. And then you build pieces around that. A couple of key guys out of the portal, add some length and size. All the ingredients are there for Purdue to run that path and finish it off, what, 60, 70 miles from their campus.
I want to go back to the value of seniors in a moment, but going back to that graphic, including UConn being in the American, since the Big Ten last won the national title, 5 different conferences have been represented on the trophy. That's just mind-blowing when you think about the history of the Big Ten. Chandler with the good feed inside. Here's Garrison with the slam. So let me ask you, is the value of seniors in this day and age, in this era of college basketball, more important than it was 10, 20 years ago?
If they're good seniors, you've got to be good and have stayers. Guys that stay in your program. Matt Painter has lost some guys to the portal. He has not lost starters. And therefore, that consistency of Purdue basketball just continues year after year. What Matt Painter's concerned with so far in this game is his half-court defense.
Yeah. And a foul charge to Antoine West Jr., the freshman.
Really good ball movement by Kentucky in this ballgame. I believe this is their 9th assist. two guys go to the ball, somebody's uncovered, and Colin Chandler up top at 6'5" just sees over the top of a pretty good double team. And Garrison, though, with good hands and an easy finish, very impressed with Mark Pope's offense the first 12+ minutes of this game.
Otega Owe, preseason SEC Player of the Year at the free throw line. He was a 78% free throw shooter last year. Purdue sitting at 21 points. Lair and Smith have combined for 14 of those 21. Owe 1 for 2 and rebounded by Oscar Clough out of Sunshine Coast in Australia. Transferred in from South Dakota State after starting at Washington State. Clough gives him another big guy, not quite a 7-footer. He's 6'11", but a wide body inside. Here's Smith off the curl. Kaufman-Renn gonna back down Chandler. Shot clock at 5. And knocked away. Great defense by Owe.
Good job by Owe to know that Trey Kaufman-Renn is a facilitator, a passer with the ball in his hands. Just ate it up.
Kaufman-Renn averaged 2 dimes a game last year. And now in the interior, and a beautiful finish by Mohamed Diabate.
Kentucky is going right through the chest of Purdue, which is they pride themselves, Purdue does, on being a physical team. Kentucky having no problem with that physicality so far.
Largest lead of the game for the Cats, and they're on their feet at Rupp Arena. Most anticipated exhibition game in some time with #1 in the building. Smith with the miss, and an open floor foul goes against Purdue. Cats rolling.
Nothing about this game on the inside feels like it's an exhibition game in October. That ball moved by Kentucky. They're playing with a hot basketball. That thing's not sticking. A good shooting team is a good passing team, and that's what Kentucky's been so far in this one. I love Mo Diabate. What a tremendous pickup by Mark Pope. Toughness, winner, can make a three, can win his mismatch at that 3 or 4 position, and Big Blue Nation on their feet in Rupp early.
10 assists and 11 buckets for the Cats. Cox committed the foul a moment ago, and now the second on the freshman from Toledo, Antoine West. Matt Painter's getting everything he asked for in this game. They play exhibition games the last few years. They've gone to Arkansas. They went to Creighton last year, matched up with Ryan Kalkbrenner. He wants to go on the road. He wants his team to be tested. He told you, I want us to get our butt kicked tonight.
He did. Those are exact his words, and so far he has accomplished that goal.
Noah, nice slice, but no finish, and Diabate nearly knocked it in on the follow. It'll be Kentucky basketball. Why would Matt Painter say that? What does he mean by that?
Well, he's got a preseason #1 team. He believes in his team 100%. This is legit condition and game pressure and physicality, and the film doesn't lie. And Matt Painter's got a lot right now that concerns him early in this game.
Jasper Johnson out of overtime elite, couple of stops after he left his hometown of Lexington before coming back as a Cat. It's a 10-point Kentucky lead. Kaufman-Renn fumbles the entry pass. West goes right back to him. And there's the double. Another foul on the double team came with 5 seconds on the shot clock.
Yeah, that's a double mistake. Good catch by you. Again, the second time Kentucky has fouled, double teaming Trey Kaufman-Renn, who this time is at 16, 17 feet with his back to the basket. But go back to Kentucky offensively. This Johnson kid is not afraid. He's a fearless kid as a true freshman, but I like what I've seen out of Kentucky in their half-court defense. They just lost their discipline a couple of times in their monster action on Trey Kaufman-Renn.
That's a third on Diabate. Cam Williams returns, replacing Chandler. It'll be Marino and now Yelovich on the front line for the Cats. Here's Trey Kaufman-Renn, 5th-year senior out of Sellersburg, Indiana. He has started 75 consecutive games. He's got one more free throw, preseason for everybody. They were just going to inbound.
So, Tom, he slides to his natural 4 position this year. So now Purdue's going to play a lot of minutes with 2 bigs on the floor. Will that be congestion this year? Because last year was such an open spread offense with basically 4 perimeter players around Trey Kaufman-Renn. It's going to be interesting to see what Purdue looks like offensively a month from now as they continue to try to play with 2 bigs.
Good hands by Cox. Almost knocked it away. And Marino finally gets rid of it. Into the corner, Cam Williams. An air ball, rebounded by Oscar Clough. And now Smith, Kaufman-Renn. He seemed a little bit hesitant, well, until he finishes. That's 4 now for Kaufman-Renn.
He has that about him. He a little bit of awkwardness in his game. I mean that as a compliment, but great feet, an unusual, unique release of the basketball. Tremendous as a roll guy out of that pick and roll action.
Trent Noah with the back cut, and they're going to whistle C.J. Cox for his second. 7-point Kentucky lead, number 9.
Rosters and how pieces are going to fit, but I like the starting spot. I don't put a lot of at stake in those preseason polls, and check back after Feast Week when we've had some real head-to-head matchups.
The other free throw coming for Trent Noah, sophomore out of Harlan, Kentucky. The sun comes up at 10 in the morning, goes down 3 in the day.
What?
Yep, they're in the hills, the deep dark hills of eastern Kentucky. I got a Patty Loveless record to play.
I thought you were talking about Alaska. I did the Great Alaska Shootout. The sun came up at 10 and didn't come up and went down at 3.
I told Trent yesterday, I said, you look tall.
Good action.
And a good finish by Kaufman-Renn. He said, you know, I guess I haven't been measured. They had me at 6'5" last year. I'm 6'5" this year, but
he's grown.
Yeah, I think so. Here's Johnson with the 3.
Fearless. Again, as a true freshman, his first time up in a big crowd. No hesitation at all or belief or confidence in his stroke. That last set by Purdue was a thing of beauty. They used Braden Smith as the back screener, inverted their offense, and let the small point guard be the primary screener up top. Very hard to handle.
Purdue just 2 for 7 from deep. Here's Noah. And now Yelovich says he'll tee one up. Left it short. 10-point Kentucky lead. They appreciated this at Harry's Chocolate Shop.
As I'm talking about, Braden Smith just kind of digs his heels in, and a little bit of a moving screen action that will never get called the way he did it, and just drive right off his rear end. Again, Matt Painter, so good offensively over the last few years. P.J. Thompson, former Purdue player, is the offensive coordinator. 28, 29 years old, just has a brilliant mind of how to move the defense around.
And now Fletcher Lawyer hadn't made many threes tonight and can't quite finish at the rim. Jasper Johnson, why not? And Kaufman-Renn the rebound. They head to Lawyer. And they get Johnson with the reach. Johnson's made a couple of different stops. He was a standout playing for his dad at Woodford County High School, not far from here. Also a quarterback there, and then went on to Link Academy, the overtime elite.
This is what Purdue didn't get enough of last year. Their inability to rip that ball off the defensive glass because they were a small team. And this year, I think you're going to see a much more efficient and better transition push by Purdue. Braden Smith is excellent at a lot of things, but he is truly elite with the ball in his hands in the open floor. And it all starts with Purdue's ability this year to grab that defensive glass.
Lawyer knocks down a pair of free throws. Smith, 13th Indiana Mr. Basketball to make his way to Purdue. One of those was Kyle Macy, who started his career at Purdue at a Peru high school in Indiana, and then, of course, came to Lexington. He played in the last time these two teams met at Rupp Arena in 1979. Macy, to the surprise of no one, didn't miss a free throw that night. Shot off by Marino, and Kyle down in Florida had a big tennis match this morning, so he's watching tonight.
How did he do in the tennis match?
I'm going to guess he won.
I am shocked the number of floaters that Trey Kaufman-Renn has missed in this game.
Marino on the run and a one-hand slam.
I am not shocked that a 7-footer gets out and leads the push for Kentucky. That's exactly what Mark Pope wants in his offense. Hyper-aggressive defensively to offensively conversion.
Kaufman-Renn, to your point, Jimmy, just 2 for 7 from the floor in this one. Smith underneath. Here's Kaufman-Renn. Trying to get a little bit closer.
Great feet, though, and that's what he has to be. He's not an above-the-rim explosive guy, but he's tremendous off of 2 feet with shot fakes and pivoting to find space.
Already 10th in school history in points. He'll enter the season with 723. Knocked away by Daniel Jacobson. The sophomore from Chicago saw limited time last year due to an injury.
Watch Marino get out and run. You get a 7-footer running right down the pipe. What I like about it is Marino and Yelovich, they're fighting each other for that lead spot. 2 bigs get out and run, and Marino finds it on the right side. Really well done by Kentucky.
Is the post the biggest question mark for this Kentucky team going into the season?
Yeah, it is right now, yes.
Late in the shot clock again. Johnson heaves it and was hoping for a whistle from Smith. It'll be a shot clock violation. Smith was trying to help out Johnson, and Marino said, no, he's my teammate. I got it.
Well, this is a half-2 shot by Jasper Johnson, and Braden Smith almost got into the landing area, the feet of Jasper Johnson.
13-second difference in the game clock and shot clock. Here's Fletcher Lawyer downhill and couldn't quite finish. Purdue really struggling, knocking it in. The offensive rebound gives them a second chance.
The length of Kentucky has bothered Purdue in their half-court offense on the perimeter and at the rim.
Boilermakers shooting just 38% in this first half. Pocket one, Leaner, nope. Knocked out of bounds by Kentucky, apparently. And with 4.3 seconds, we'll see what Matt Painter's baseline out of bounds looks like, and he's going to take a timeout to draw.
But you will get shooting fouls this year in the college game if a foul occurs and then one more step occurs, and I like the rule change.
Marino with the steal at the end of the half, trying to beat the clock. And he can't quite get it down. Over last year and led the country in 2-point field goals.
These exhibition games are so good. Where we're at right now, teams allowed to play 2. I think it should grow to 3 or 4. I think they've got a chance of doing that in the future. But again, you're going to learn more about your team tonight in 2 hours than you have the last 4 months if you're Mark Pope or Matt Painter.
I don't disagree with you, and I think it's fantastic that nobody has to keep these secret anymore. But I would also love to see Matt Painter go up against Mark Pope in the regular season. Top 10 showdown.
Yeah. And we may. It would just be in March.
Yeah.
Probably deep in March.
Stolen away by Braden Smith. It is really interesting the difference in preparation for both programs. And going back a couple of years ago when Matt Painter took his Purdue team to Fayetteville and when they had Zach Edey, Eric Musselman spent so much time prepping that he went back and watched tape on Shaq to get Arkansas ready to face Purdue's bigs, and I'm not certain that Painter respectfully really knew or cared who was even on Arkansas's team in that game. Purdue wants it to be about Purdue and the challenge of playing in a road building in front of 20,000.
I agree, and Mark Pope has done a little more preparation for this game from a scouting standpoint than Matt Painter has, and there's that defensive rim ability defensively that Purdue lacked last year. That ball may be on the way down. We're going to play on, not reviewable at this part of the game, but it's interesting how coaches approach it. But at the end of the day, you've got competitive dudes for Kentucky and Purdue that the score matters in this one to them.
Smith hounded by Olway, who had to fight over the screen of Kaufman-Wren. And Kaufman-Wren off the feed, lost it.
Really good secondary help hands by Kentucky.
Into the corner for a 3 from Aberdeen. And an offensive putback missed at the rim. It'll stay with the Cats.
Well, that's the 3rd or 4th time in this game Kentucky in the transition offense. They're just winning the sprint to the corner. Again, a good wide open 3 for Kentucky to start this second half.
Terry Oglesby and Mark Pope talking about the whistles tonight. Diabate with the touch. By the way, Reese Potter, who normally would come off the bench for Kentucky, is unavailable tonight due to an illness. So that's the 3rd guy that they're missing due to illness or injury versus when they will eventually be at full strength. Aberdeen challenged fadeaway off the front of the rim.
He is a big physical guard, man, that can create his own look. Kentucky didn't have enough of that last year. A guy that can make guarded shots, Tom, because he's all of 6'5".
Saw Purdue go to the ball screen on the last possession, and here it is again. That was new to them last year.
It was. They played through the post as they should have with Zach Edey 2 years prior to that, but heavy ball screen action between Smith and TKR will continue this year.
Noah for three. And rebounded by Oscar Clough. Oh, and Noah gambled and collision with Fletcher Lawyer's got to stretch it out.
That's his first of the team's second.
Look at Fletcher Lawyer right in front of us at 110 straight starts. He and Braden Smith, they are always on the same wavelength together. And it's, you say a lot of things about Fletcher Lawyer. One thing that he is not afraid of the big moments to take big shots. That dude's got guts.
And when he makes them, they win games. He makes 3 threes in a game. Purdue is 14-0. He's made 2 tonight. Here's Smith. Got a little bit of space. Kaufman-Renn misses another 2 before getting the putback. Diabate working inside, had a mismatch with Lawyer and got it to go.
Tom, I talked about in the first half, Kentucky has made several plays in this game just right through the chest of a black jersey. That time it was Diabate going right through Fletcher Lawyer.
Does that surprise you given what you've learned about Purdue?
A little bit, because I think they pride themselves on being the more physical team, but Kentucky has matched that and more so far in this game.
Here's a touch for Cox, gives it up and gets it back with 8 on the shot clock. Cox over Noah from the baseline.
Tough shot taker, tough shot maker is Cox. Had big moments last year. He went on a personal 9-0 run last year against Alabama that literally flipped the game.
Yeah, won it in a 52-second span.
Yeah.
What a great game that was, and a fun matchup for both of the programs. They'll meet up again this year, this time in Tuscaloosa. We'll be there in a couple of weeks.
He scored more in 52 seconds than I did in 4 years.
Shot clock at 10. Smith guarded by Owe. And then Garrison with the help. And they had Kaufman-Renn open off the feed.
It all starts with Braden Smith just fighting his way out of a really tight, hard double team of the basketball. They get that thing to the high post and just drop down low. A thing of beauty against good defense by Kentucky that time.
Aberdeen gets his step on Cox and broke free.
He's got long arms, does he not? He can really finish at that rim. To your point about we will see Purdue at Alabama in a few weeks. Matt Painter said we have to. We know what we're going into at Tuscaloosa. That's why I purposely searched out an exhibition game like this.
Lawyer leads it short. They've been a little imbalanced since the 4:40 mark of the first half. Kaufman-Renn has scored 14 of the last 18 for Purdue. Clough with the board. He averaged 12 boards a game last year in South Dakota State. Smith and a whistle. And Braden Smith will be at the free throw line when we come back from this timeout at Rupp.
15 assists against Houston last year in the Sweet 16 loss. And Kelvin Sampson said that no one has destroyed their ball screen defense like Braden Smith did on that evening.
15 assists and they scored like 59 points.
Yeah. And Purdue will tell you they missed 4 or 5 wide open shots off of a Braden Smith pass in that game. That's how good he is. So he's got a chance to set that all-time record.
He's a scorer and distributor. He had 4 20-point, 10-assist games last year. 6th best in Purdue history. Shot clock at 5. Noah for 3. And it rolls home.
You just got to be there on the catch. I mean, Trent Noah's 6'5". He's grown there. And Braden Smith at 6 foot, just a little late and a little low to take away the vision.
Chandler defending Smith now. Remember, Kentucky's without its projected starting point guard Jalen Lowe. Shoulder injury in the blue-white scrimmage. And Lawyer got challenged on that one. Here's Chandler running the point.
Purdue's got to throw the ball to TKR when he's got his defender on the back side in front of that rim.
Chandler no look into the corner. Aberdeen got past the big and gonna get a whistle on TKR, Trey Kaufman-Renn.
The foul is on Kaufman-Renn. That's his first with the team's first.
I'm a big fan of Denzel Aberdeen. I mean, again, this is a guy that helped cut down On the nets for the Florida Gators last year. All he's done is win. I believe he's a state champion his senior year at Dr. Phillips High School in Orlando, but he's a long glove in the SEC this year.
Yeah, he had 27 points in that state championship game, and 21. Aberdeen's got another one coming his way. Daniel Jacobson back on the floor for Purdue as Jasper Johnson returns for Kentucky. Great to see Jacobson back on the floor. He added 25 pounds. He was basically rail thin last year. In his second start, broke his leg 1 minute in the game 2 of the season.
He's all of 7'4". We're talking about 12 in black on that top block right now. Wasn't much of a factor in the 8 minutes that he played in the first half, but a really good shooter at 7'4". Obviously a real problem around the rim.
They have had a 7-footer on the roster for 14 consecutive seasons.
I was going to say forever, right?
Yeah. A.J. Hammonds in 15 was a big guy, and of course Isaac Haas and Zach Edey, among others.
You know, Purdue didn't operate out of that dunker spot last year because of a lack of size. They will this year with Clough and Daniel Jacobson and sliding TKR to the 4.
Jacobson with a handoff to Fletcher Lawyer for 3. And Marino all alone for the rebound. Good vision to kick it up to Johnson. Marino directing traffic. He wants to go after the 7'4" sophomore and try to go right through him. It'll be the first on Daniel Jacobson.
Well, if you're 7'4", you have to go straight up and understand verticality because you have the advantage with your height and your length. And Braden Smith tries to come in, boom, and get the quick steal. But he comes down with that right arm and the hack on the elbow, and it's a good call.
Malachi Marino celebrating his birthday today, 19 years old. Freshman from just down the road in Georgetown, Kentucky. He was a McDonald's All-America. He's, I think, one of 3 on this roster. Meanwhile, Purdue has had 1 McDonald's All-America under Matt Painter in 21 seasons.
How about that? 50-1.
50-1 in that span over 2 decades. Yet 7 of the last 9 seasons, they've developed an All-American without having a top 30 prospect. Well, that is shocking.
Yeah, it speaks to the development of that Purdue program. It's still a program that will redshirt guys their freshman year.
Especially the bigs. Caleb Swanigan was that lone McDonald's All-American for Purdue. Here's Yelovich. Preseason #1 for the first time in school history. Moreno with the 2-hand slam.
He may be your starting 5 before it's all said and done for Kentucky. He's just trying to still figure things out, but man, that size and that speed and aggressiveness, great set of paws. He is a real problem in this freshman class.
Double-digit lead ties the largest lead of the game for the Cats. Smith is able to pick up the foul on Yelovich.
Tom, just the understanding of a young kid that Matt Painter wants to see in an odd way in this game. That defensive mistake by Trey Kaufman-Renn to jump out and not stay between your guy and the ball. Those are the things that only an exhibition game against a high-quality team will expose, and that's probably the conversation that Matt Painter's having with Trey Kaufman-Renn right now.
They open with Evansville on November 4th, and yeah, defensively this has not been a Picasso for Purdue tonight, but he will have their attention for sure. Lane inside Rupp Arena for the first time since the NCAA tournament.
Could be a difference maker.
Lawyer here trying to fight his way through and pushes Cam Williams into his 3rd personal foul.
That will be a shooting foul this year. That's what I'm talking about. Williams at 6'8". I mean, Fletcher Lawyer's all of 6'5", and in a pretty good closeout position, but those guys on the perimeter with that type of length to make guarded shots, and Cam Williams is one of them.
And Lawyer's got another one coming. The big 3 for Purdue, all in double figures. Smith has 11, Lawyer 11, and Kaufman-Renn 14. Cats have turned it up, made their last 3. Marino with the slip. Chandler with the blow-by. Wow, what a finish.
One of, if not the best athlete that Kentucky has is Colin Chandler. That will be a delay of game warning on Chandler to knock that basketball afterwards. But wow, you talk about some juice from up top from 5 in white. Colin Chandler just makes winning.
Taking it too far. The Big Ten and the SEC, along with the Big 12, each have 6 teams in the AP preseason top 25. Texas was the 14th team in out of the SEC last year. Set a record. Meyer has taken over at the point guard position. Here's Lawyer for 3. Left it short.
Well, the ones he normally does not miss. With a career 40% three-point shooter is Fletcher Lawyer.
Chandler has it rejected by Daniel Jacobson.
That's interesting, Tom. Purdue right now playing one big with 4 perimeter players, which is what they were last year. I continue to wonder, is Purdue going to play with a crowded court and a half court with a true big on the floor this year with Trey Kaufman-Renn, who's not a perimeter threat? It's something for Matt Painter, I'm sure, will have a lot of eyes on the first month of the season, his offensive flow.
Downhill drive, and Jasper Johnson flips it in. He's at double figure. Let me ask you this. In this day and age, these programs, even when there's turnover, have been together since the summer. When you and I were shooting off fireworks, they were on the practice court. And now they finally get to see another team. How much more can you learn when you're facing a different jersey versus all of these scrimmages that you've had, good versus good?
I think, I don't know if to put a percentage on it, but twice as much, I would think, because this is a reality check. You know, if your offense is good for the last couple of months, it's maybe because your defense stinks.
Yeah.
You know, but if you can't score, it's maybe because you have a top 5 defense. But you're finding out so much tonight, as in all these exhibition games across the country the next week.
Williams off the mark from 3. Lawyer with the rebound. And lost it on his way up. It'll go back the other way. This has not been an efficient night for this Purdue team, shooting 43% from the floor. That's turnover number 8 on the evening. And Chandler will take a seat now after a great effort at the point guard position. And Braden Smith will return a point for Purdue.
So now Braden Smith is in a lineup with 4 perimeter players and a big. So we'll see if the floor opens up a little bit more. Does Braden Smith get downhill? Does he spray the ball to shooters? All these things that Matt Painter is checking off his list as well as I talk about it. Like, what do we look like with 4 around 1?
And we're seeing Jacobson pick up extended time here in the second half. Helps out on Aberdeen. Aberdeen just running circles into the corner for 3. Wow. Otega Oweh to follow.
He is such a force. Really good offensive and defensive rebounder from that guard spot. Just completely comes in unchecked. Another play for Matt Painter to stop and ask his guys, what are we doing?
Smith lobbed to Jacobson. It was halfway down and popped out. Yelovich the rebound. Garrison running the floor, but Williams couldn't thread it. Here's Oweh on the 7'4" Jacobson, and he lost it out of bounds. Hey, special shout out to my buddy Patrick Crawford. He and his wife Alyssa welcome son Colin, sports information director extraordinaire at Purdue.
There we go. That's Oweh coming in, just won the foot race to the front of the rim and gets above everyone.
Meyer around the screen from Jacobson. And Meyer steps into a triple. They've got an Oscar and they got a Meyer.
I told you at some point I was going to call Omer Meyer Oscar Meyer, but it has not happened yet.
I had a buddy who drove the Wienermobile for a year.
Good paying job.
All the hot dogs you could eat. Cox back on the floor for Purdue.
And Tom, for those that are just joining us, Kentucky playing well without most likely their starting point guard for the season, Jalen Lowe, out because of a sore shoulder still, and Jaden Quaintance, who will most likely be their starting post player when he's, I think, ready to go for conference play. And Kentucky getting a lot of good things done against the #1 preseason team.
Yelovich tried to kick it in the corner. I think Mark Pope's going to be happy with the three-point rate tonight. Half of Kentucky's field goals have come from deep. 24 threes, 48 overall. The goal for them going into every game is 35 threes. They set a school record in threes made and attempted last season. Shot clock at 6. Aberdeen contested. And another board for Jacobson, his third.
Well, I see so much promise for Kentucky on this end of the floor. And they just kind of held on last year defensively, but this year they can get stops and be aggressive with it and make plays on this end that they could not make or would not make last year. They've upgraded because of Aberdeen, Diabate, and Jaden Quaintance.
Defenders and teach them offense. Last year, Kentucky was a top 20 defense in the last 6 weeks of the season, but they didn't get it done over the entire.
Areas that Kentucky has worked in the offseason, getting on the offensive glass and legally challenging every shot. They've done a good job of it so far in this game.
A little sloppy now. Meyer in transition. Oweh the rebound. I think Oweh averaged 5 boards a game last year. Yelovich fouled by Jacobson, second on Purdue's bid.
Tom, how many times in this game have the Kentucky? And Matt Painter will tell you, we talked about in the first half, this is his best chance, he thinks, of winning the entire thing. Big 12, or excuse me, the Big 10, 2000, right? The last time they won.
That's right. The Tom Izzo's team. Michigan will have a pretty good team. Dusty May's second season as a head man. They added Yaxel Lendenborg from UAB. He was one of only 2 players in the country, Cooper Flagg the other, to lead his team in all relevant categories. In another era without NIL, Lendenborg's off trying to play pro ball somewhere. Yeah, it's not the NBA. Now he's getting paid in Ann Arbor.
Yeah, or maybe in the NBA. He's that good. You saw him several times last year. You and I saw him a couple of times 2 years prior, but he was one of the most sought after guys in the portal.
They also added Morris Johnson, Illinois' big, so Michigan will have some size on the inside.
Boy, Kentucky's done an outstanding job on Braden Smith. 11 points, 4 assists. They have kept him in check. It's not easy to do, but multiple guys at Mark Pope. Right now it's Aberdeen on him. Whoa.
Hard foul on the drive by Kaufman-Wren. And they'll get Brandon.
Just the small things that Braden Smith does, because he's just being topped right now defensively. So what does he do? He comes up and becomes an on-ball screener. Just a high IQ point guard is Braden Smith. Doesn't get the passing assist. Matt Payne would probably say that's a screen assist to get Trey Kaufman-Wren to the rim.
Sat behind Zach Edey for a couple of years and then took over at the 5 spot last year. First team All Big Ten. 20 points, 6 boards, 2 assists a game on 59% shooting. Ken Pomeroy, not the music star, but Ken Pomeroy, the statistician, had him the 7th best. That is a very efficient offensive outing for off season for Trey Kaufman-Wren last year. Here's Garrison in the paint and a finish over Kaufman-Wren.
That may have been the best possession for Brandon Garrison in this game, because he initiated that zoom action with a lot of speed. I mean, he really handled the ball well to get that Kentucky offense going quickly. And then he just dives right out of it, and through contact, again, Kentucky making another play right through the chest, right through a black jersey. This time it's Brandon Garrison. Zoom action, hands it off, dives out of it, takes the hit, gets himself to that free throw line. Really well done by Tenon White.
Garrison finished with his best scoring stretch of the season late last year with 3 in a row of 3 games. Got him to 28 points. He played at Oklahoma State a couple of seasons prior to coming to Lexington. Purdue held without a bucket 4 minutes on. Braden Smith left it short. What is getting exposed about Purdue tonight?
Their transition defense, for one, has been exposed.
There it is again.
And it's probably, I don't know, 12, 14 points in transition defense. Just not fast enough, not physical enough, not alert enough. And Kentucky came in here really with a lot of questions about how good are we? They've answered a lot of those tonight.
Well, there's 6 to go in this exhibition game between Purdue and Kentucky. Trey Kaufman-Wren frustrated on the interior. Here's Garrison.
Man, you got to give it to him. He's exposed on the inside. And Mark Pope's calling for it. Mo Diabate's got Braden Smith on him. Watch out.
Make a play, Jimmy Dykes.
Yeah, that's about what I'm used to, getting the ball on the bench. There you go, Doug. Thank you.
I'm just glad you gave it back. So 7 seconds on the shot clock. Here's Aberdeen.
Get downhill.
Now 4. Aberdeen will pull from 3. Colin Chandler after the tip by Diabate controls it for Kentucky. That was tip, and Clough extending his defense all the way to midcourt to the delight of the Purdue bench. Purdue has missed each of its last 9 field goal attempts.
Tom, it's so hard not to overreact to an exhibition game. This one has felt like a real game from the opening tip, even back to warm-ups.
Wait, you don't think this fan base will overreact to one game, do you?
No, they will start claiming national championship tonight, Big Blue Nation Twitter, if I know them well. But I do think what you're going to see from Mark Pope is very happy with his defensive performance and where they are right now on October the 24th on that end of the floor. And to do it down potential 2 starters without Jalen Lowe and Jaden Quayton is also a really good sign. But there's depth. I was up here 3 weeks ago to watch Kentucky practice, and I walked away thinking he's got 10, 11 guys that are deserving of minutes in a high-level SEC game, and that depth has shown again tonight against Purdue.
Kentucky opens its regular season against Nichols on Tuesday, November 4th. Trey Kaufman-Wren has earned a 2nd. By the way, that was the 4th on Diabate. And then Kentucky's first test is they go to Louisville on November 11th in a game on ESPN. They also get Michigan State, North Carolina, Gonzaga, Indiana before conference play starts.
Pat Kelsey has Louisville right back where they're supposed to be, and that's in the conversation for a Final Four run. And that Kentucky-Louisville game is always fueled by a lot of bitterness and anger between the fan base, and that is a high-level game once again under Mark Pope and Pat Kelsey.
Too much on the entry from Chandler, ends up in Braden Smith's hands.
There's not a lot of transition baskets for Purdue in this game.
I want to go back to overreacting to one game, an exhibition game at that, as Johnson commits his 2nd. What about from the Purdue perspective? Is this worry, or is this a practice game against a team we didn't really scout?
I think it's a little bit of both. I mean, what Matt Painter's team has shown tonight is defensively, they got a long ways to go. And he was honest with me at shoot-around today, saying offensively, I love our team. Defensively, we've got work to do. And, this is a Kentucky team that's good offensively, potentially great. But Purdue right now, their transition defense, their half-court defense, a lot of holes. And Matt Painter is as good of a coach as we have in the college game. He's getting exactly what he wanted out these last 2 hours. His #1 preseason team getting knocked around on the road, and they will learn from it.
They still have another exhibition game before opening with Evansville on Tuesday the 4th, and then their first test, true test, comes with a road trip to Tuscaloosa on November 13th. They also get Memphis as they start playing the Baha Mar tournament down in the Bahamas.
Wow.
Good finish by Malachi Marino.
How patient and controlled and powerful was Malachi Marino. And he's going against an equal-sized defender and not shook at all.
He's one of 10 different Wildcats who has scored so far tonight. Only 2 in double figures. Lawyer no. Yelovich has it ripped away by Kaufman-Wren. 11-point game as we near 3.5 minutes to play. Noah from the logo. Banked it in. Second three of the night for Trent Noah. And just when it looked like Purdue might climb back into this thing, he delivers a dagger. Noah Gamble, Fletcher Lawyer for three. 3 on 2, Kentucky. Jasper Johnson, another three. Team high 13 for the freshman out of Woodford County High School.
It was a huge loss to our college basketball family in the Big Ten and beyond.
And Terry Oglesby, who's worked many a Final Four, has worked Big Ten games for a number of years, now primarily in the SEC, but I'm sure he worked dozens of games with Terry Weimer over the years. Here's Smith inside to Jacobson for the dunk. Daniel Jacobson has a couple of buckets in this second half. 2.5 to play at Rupp. About as good a night as you could hope for if you're a Kentucky fan. Somebody was open.
Well, Kentucky again, they are so good and fast on championship, no doubt. I've got a request from the Kentucky student down there that I was talking to earlier for me to unblock him on Twitter.
Only one?
Yeah, only one.
Meyer kicks
That's
it
the
off
note
the
that
rim.
just got passed to me. Mr. Dykes, would you please unblock me on Twitter? Watch out.
Johnson a little long. That's on. We really need to pick up security around here.
Oh, man, I love the Big Blue Nation fan base, man. They care about hoops.
Dish to Jacobson, and the 7'4" sophomore has 6 in the second half. Why'd you block him?
I don't know. He told me to get off campus, and I reminded him that Rupp Arena is not on campus. And he didn't like the response. I don't know.
Into the corner, it's Johnson again. And another hustle offensive rebound. It was Diabate this time.
Tom, again, Mark Pope and Matt Painter, they've learned more about their team the last 2 hours than they have the last 2 months. And they've seen good and they've seen bad and things that have to be worked on, but that's what's so great. Wow, look at this guy, not just a stroke, but the hit and the hang by Jasper Johnson. Yeah, I see your reaction.
Contested 2, good by Meyer. And the freshman from Tel Aviv has his second bucket of the night. Well, Kentucky's going to get a win that will grab the headlines, but Jimmy, to be honest, it doesn't count, right? It's not Mark Pope and what they accomplished here tonight.
I think it counts a ton in the confidence column, which is huge. And Mark Pope knows that he was hired to win a national championship at Kentucky. I'm not saying watch out.
What an exclamation point! Diabate came flying in from Tony's.
Just burn that pressure off, and Tony's is a long ways away, by the way. But I think Mark Pope understands the assignment, and all this does is fuel confidence for his young team playing together for the first time, saying, hey, we've got the pieces to do it. Now, we got to keep our nose down and grind away, but
he is a confidence-building coach.
Absolutely it is. Absolutely it is. And on the other side, Matt Painter gets exactly what he wants out of this game. We come in preseason #1, rightfully so. We got knocked around. I got my guys' attention. Although Kentucky won the game, Purdue and Kentucky both won in the big picture in terms of how a coach looks at it.
Well, the last time